So Joe, what's a good tip for using the histogram?
Okay, well, you'll hear photographers tell you over and over and over that you should expose to the right. Right? The object when exposing digital files, generally speaking, is to come fairly close to clipping the highlights, but don't clip them.
Yeah.
The highlight is pretty close to the end. Over here, there's a little bit going off the end, so one of the shadows is clipped a little bit, but that's pretty good. Or I could change it one more, a third of a stop, more exposure, longer. Three seconds exposure, doing a dark exposure afterward. And now it's closer. And I want to double check because it's hard to see up close. That's even better. All right, now the shadows are a teeny bit better and the highlight still isn't clipped. So that's basically a perfect exposure for this image.
Expose to the right. Also use the blinky warning to look for small areas that are important highlights that don't show up in the histogram. If you've got a relatively flat subject that's only taking up half the histogram, you don't have to worry about it. You can expose it less, right? Safer. You could use auto exposure control and it'd be pretty good. It's when the subject starts to get contrasty and you have important bright highlights and important dark shadows that it gets to be hard. If it doesn't fit all the way, bracket. If you're on a tripod and you're willing to bother, you could deliberately overexpose to get a great one for the shadows and deliberately under to get a great one for the highlights and blend them together.
Excellent.
You know, that's called HDR,
That's
high
right.
dynamic range processing. You can also change focus between shots and blend those together too for more depth of field, which is a really neat thing. I did a lot of work on some software recently for that. Yeah, beware of the lighting being very different from the white point that the camera is set to, which can throw off the way the histogram shows the red, green, and the blue. But if you have pretty ordinary lighting and your camera is set to automatic or daylight and you're outside, then you can pretty much believe, you know, more or less, give or take half stop, what the histogram tells you.
Be sure to subscribe now to stay updated on my show, and we'll give you tips and insight to keep advancing your photography. Also, check out our guests' website for a closer look at their work. Tune in to our next episode of Advancing Your Photography for an inside look at another photographer's world. Until then, this is Marc Silber reminding you to get out and capture your own images of life.